CV, okay, the common CV issues we have, right? Now, when I look at people's CV, and I review a lot of CVs now as a coach, because people go, oh, I want some help. I said, just send me your current CV. Let me give you some feedback. You may be able to do it yourself. Now, first page should be a summary page, but they don't summarize anything on the front. Managers are very busy, including HR. So when they get your CV, they want to quickly decide whether or not they're going to call you in for an interview. So if you have the first page summarized in terms of your career, where you've been, what are your key skills, it makes life a lot easier. Also, people don't have key achievements. They pretty much jot down in bullet points their job tasks. I do reconciliations or bank recs or cash flow forecasts. I do budgeting forecasting, ... Just because you do a task doesn't mean you are good at it. Okay, so key achievements and quantified key achievements are the things that distinguishes you from the next candidate. So a lot of times people don't put that in. I've already mentioned the task from the job description. They cut and paste from the JD onto their CV. A lot of people focus heavily on technical capability. I've got VAS or GST experience. I've got, running a report out of Power BI, etc., etc. And they don't really talk about who they work with, the soft skills they have. So that's another common mistake. Also, too much I. We also want to know how you work with others on the CV. So it'll be ideal to, for example, give a talk about stakeholder management and who you actually worked with or collaborated with to drive an outcome. There's also a lack of understanding of self. So I can't see on the CV what you are strong at because the way you've written it is all task-driven. They don't speak to the job description. The length is either too short or too long. So I have 25 years of experience. I have 4 pages, including the summary page at the top. Anything that's gone past sort of, I would say 15 years and beyond, depending on how many jobs you've had, 15 years ago is probably not as relevant, because if you think about where you are at right now compared to where you were at 15 years ago, you would have done some progression. And if you're younger than that, well, then obviously put everything on there, right? If you don't have as many roles and years of experience. But like I said, if you've got experience that are a long time, then I don't need to know that when you were a graduate, you did You almost summarize it, and I will show you how to do that. And then finally, grammatical and spelling mistakes. This is the worst one because the CV is a tool or a way for us to test your written communication. So if you don't fix up your CV from just simple things like spelling and grammatical errors, then we think, how good are you going to be for us in our job? And then inconsistent information. So one role might have key achievements, the next role no key achievements, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are the common. So here it is. Here's my 5-step system. Now, why did I create a system? When I was a candidate myself, I couldn't connect why I wasn't getting particular job interviews, and I thought I had all the skill sets to those job descriptions. Then I learned as I went along in my 25-year career, surely there is some sort of way, some sort of system that we could use to write our CV. So over time, I got feedback, I revised my CV, and then slowly I was getting to those right interviews, that the jobs I wanted. Now, from there, I really sat down and thought, well, we've never been taught how to write a CV. I mean, if you have, I'm very grateful that you have, because we've never have been taught. If I think about university, didn't teach us that. CPA didn't teach us that. At work, well, why would they want to teach you how to write a CV? You'll leave. So really, throughout our career, no one has really sat down to teach us. And that's why I created this system. Because when you have a system and a process you go through, that's how you're going to build confidence. Because if you think about how you've written your CV, it's most likely someone gave you a template, or you Googled it, or it's something you've just kept using, thinking it's the right template to use, it's the right system and process. But have you really sat down to think about, how am I going to sell myself? So here it is, these are the 5 steps. And when you have a system, it gives you the competence to write and sell yourself. So the CV in itself, the writing process, is not just going to give you skill set in obviously writing the CV, but it's going to help you write in terms of business environment. So when I created the system, after that, I realized I applied it to everyday email writing. I was always very conscious, okay, I need to have a very summarized version of what I'm going to tell the senior executives. Here are the key points for those who want to know the detail. And then in conclusion, what was I recommending and demonstrating the value I was adding. So this system has provided me more skill sets in terms of my writing skills. Also, it will give you consistency because the way the steps are, you will be applying consistent information throughout your CV. Then I'm very, very efficient. So I leverage that CV to then write the cover letter and then fix up LinkedIn so that if anyone goes to any of those CV or job application process or steps, they are able to see the same consistent information. Like I mentioned before, it will give you that confidence because the way I've designed it is all about confirming to yourself what skills and achievements you've made, and then finally give you that clarity. Okay, so let's jump straight into step 1. Any questions so far? And I do talk very fast, so I hope you captured all of that. All right, now first things first. Why analyze job description? So step 1 is about analyzing job description. If you think about it, nowadays we are very in an AI-driven environment. So same with recruitment, they want to get through as many CVs as they can. So we do use an ATS, an applicant tracking system. And what that really means is it's just a computer going through all the CVs going, does it match to this job description? So it doesn't even go through humans until the next step. So I found this article, and not that long ago, 2018, it was already rejecting up to 75% of the CVs before a human even gets to it. So matching your CV to JD's is crucial to avoid the computer saying no. Okay, you already know that yourself. Okay, so what do I do with the first step? Before you even start writing the CV, you really need to understand what the job description is asking for. So my suggestion is you grab, and I'm assuming unless you're doing, very different roles. So I'm assuming, for example, if you want to go into an analytical role, your choices are going to be, depending whether you have commercial experience, might be finance analyst, FP&A analyst, or financial planning and analysis analyst, or a business analyst, as they call it. Now, with those 3 types of job titles, they're in the same family, you will go and circle all of these. Okay. Now, if you are going for a financial accountant versus the analyst, then obviously they're going to require 2 different things, right? Financial accountant is going to be different to an analyst. So just be mindful of that. But if you're going for a finance analyst, in my example, you just go through and circle some of these key requirements. Okay. So this is an example here of a commercial analyst. Now, if I go and do the next one, this is another job description. I've circled the same thing. I went through, the same exercise to circle key criteria. So as you can see, I've listed them out here. So the 2 different job descriptions are asking for budgeting, analysis, pricing, business partnering, review of information, extraction of data, Excel, CA, being ERP. Sorry, it's the same. Sorry, my bad. It's the same job description. I'm just outlining for you what I have circled. Okay, so these are the key skills. My bad. Sorry. Now, if I look at this one, which is a different job description because it's a finance manager doing exactly the same thing, these will be the list, right? Financial accounting, business partnering, AR, AP, budgeting, forecasting, inventory management, payroll, blah, 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 blah. So why am I circling these key criteria? Because I'm going to set up a matrix in Excel. I'm going to have the jobs coming across this way. And then I'm going to have the key skills coming down this way, right? And keep adding, right? Which role has which skill set? You will slowly find the same jobs will have the same criteria, right? Because if you think about it, as a commercial analyst, and I am from commercial finance, I know I want a direct report that's going to have experience in budgeting, analysis, pricing, business partnering, review of information. in another organization, a commercial analyst will have the same thing because it's the same type of job. The only difference might be the type of ERP. They might want Power BI versus a Tableau or whatever it is. So there might be just slight variances. However, you would find the majority of the skills are going to be the same across the same job title or similar job title family, as well as the kind of, CA, CPA, etc. Okay, so the key question normally people will ask me is, do I need to tailor my CV to each job description? My answer would be no, as long as you're doing the same job family, unless if it's a financial accountant versus a commercial analyst, then you will need to have probably two versions. But then I would ask you the bigger question, why are you going for the two different jobs? Which one do you really want, rather than trying to have, two CVs covered? So that's more the bigger question. So any questions after step one here? Is anyone doing this at the moment? Are you sitting down when you look at a job description to really understand what they're asking for? Is anyone doing that?
Yes, I'm doing that. Yeah, it's a
Good.
morning. Just went to SIG website and
Yeah.
search this role. And I haven't done my circle. I just look at descriptions. What kind of skill they are looking for? They're looking for like BIs. You
Yeah.
have CPA, and you have working experience in financial industry and actual. So just keep on.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. You've ticked off step one then. Excellent. Excellent. But if you haven't, then I would encourage you to do this, because more so to make sure your CV has the skill set, it's also very important to know what gaps you have, because then you can address those in your CV. Okay. Anyone else before I move on? Gabriella, you've unmuted. So do you have something to say? No?